They both made it to day 2. But man, I'm really excited to see what Nemesis can do, because this season it has felt like the least consistent Nem, but when they are on, they are super strong.
I agree, and it really goes on the back of, how good is Yeet or Relics going to be playing this game? How good is Metallic going to be in this game? We've seen Rex and Aznable have some great play to kind of patch over some of those less than stellar performances out of those two players. But for this team to really find success, everybody needs to be locked in. And I'm glad we got to interview Bora earlier, because they are a new piece of this team that needs to step up and kind of meet the moment as well. As we are quickly into draft, Rex grabbing Blissey first, and then Suicune Absol on the hop, and that looks like to be another support Suicune.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Next couple of picks getting locked in here. Bora Reach on the Inteleon, Aznable on that Slowbro. The Slowbro has been a great counter to any of these Absols who are trying to just rip down Rayquaza, right? They need to make two things happen to rip Ray. They have to hit it with that Psycho Cut and throw their Unite move, which gives a Slowbro enough time to find it and lock it down with a Slow Beam. You need coaching, bringing in the Meowscarada, which is pretty cool to see. The double team can be very frustrating for a team like Nemesis, having to deal with that and its Slow Beam. Final couple of picks over to Nem. We've got Relics, aka Yeet Fan, hovering a few different options right here. And then Metallic on the Urshifu, and they are going to lock it in. I think first Urshifu we've seen all day.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking at this draft, and I am wondering how they're going to keep these speedsters from getting to that back line. And look at this, the Caltrop comp coming out between the Ice-type Pokemon here, between Suicune and the potential A9. And this is just going to be tough for Nemesis to operate through.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough for a few of their Pokemon. The one I think that is going to have the hardest time specifically is going to be that Ceruledge, right? Mm-hmm. This is something that had a real moment in competitive play, but after sort of a weird round of nerfs and slight buffs here and there, it feels like it's sort of settled into a decent but not incredible position in the meta. Interestingly, Nemesis, without a single speedster on their side, after the Absol was taken, they decided they did not want the Meowscarada for themselves. 2 speedsters for You Need Coaching, none for Nem.
Again, an eyebrow raiser here, but Nemesis has found themselves to the finals. I can't imagine that they're too far off the reservation with what they've selected here. It's really up to how they're going to navigate that A9 and Suicune. If they're, like I said, if there's a Caltrop comp, it is with those 2 Pokemon.
We are making it to the end here of our April Cup. These are your grand finals. What you are watching is Nemesis, your purple team, who has made their way through the winner's bracket against You Need Coaching, your orange team. They have come from your loser's side, meaning they will need to beat Nemesis in 2 best of 3s if they want to win this entire thing. It would be their first win for the season, and given how new of a team they really are, full of old members, they definitely would be looking for that win. Nemesis, of course, would love to secure this spot and consider themselves as one of the best teams in North America with another victory.
You have to think, if you're Nemesis and you fall short this month, what other opportunity could you have found to give yourself the express lane to a first place finish? So that's going to be eyebrow raising in and of itself. Quickly getting some stacks in are both of these paths as their You Need Coaching is playing across the map.
Yeah, we can see You Need Coaching looking to get as many stacks as they can with this Meowscarada early so that their, big damage from Flower Trick can pick up some massive KOs on their opponents, and looking to secure as much of this wild Pokemon experience as they possibly can. These last hits early in this laning phase, Dupesnacks, are so incredibly important. If you can out-secure your opponents, you can start to win and dominate the lane throughout the entire match.
We've got Vin Diesel rotating into the top path for Unk. There, waiting in the wings, is Metallic with that beautiful Urshifu Hollowware, which I just love so much. But we're going to see how this works out. Lutano kind of sussing out the situation. Going to step into the Urshifu. That'd be a knockout that they'll take. At least get one, but a good freeze by JL is at least going to keep it there. Tons of damage in. Metallic has to run away.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that we actually do see the water bear here from Nemesis. I wasn't sure which we were going to see, but obviously, you know, if you're running something like Dark Bear with that Wicked Blow, you've got that nice resistance to some of the stun being thrown at you here, but they decide to dive straight in towards this Alolan Ninetales and pick up a KO.
Some good stacks in early here for the Meowscarada. Going to be very useful in the transitioning portion of the mid game. JL going to be working through Whirlpool down, moving that back, freezing up a bunny here on Easter.
And here we go, level 7 on the Meowscarada already for the side of You Need Coaching. They're looking to score right here as multiple members of Nemesis clear this out very quickly. We have 5 members of Nem running to the top path.
Oh, they're going straight for it. Machisel taking a ton of damage. They double team, run back to a berry. We've got JL going to have to hold it down in the Suicune. They're trying to freeze. The Fowler Chick is on top of Asinable, but it's not enough to get a knockout. Here comes the Absol, and quickly dispatching of Ceruledge is that Meowscarada. Absol gets one too. Vin Diesel looking to push forward. Now we've got the counter punch. Metallic's on the backside. They're going straight into the back line. They get froze up. They get mean look. They get everything under the sun, and they can't leverage the blue bear at all.
Wow, this is going to be so interesting watching this Rapid Strike Urshifu into this comp. I just feel like it's going to be really hard to fight. Now, of course, if they can get in and get online, they can do a ton of damage. They can last for a while. But man, running into Alolan Ninetales with this feels really tough.
I mean, Alolan Ninetales, the Whirlpool into the Ice Beam stun, the mean look that we saw out of Joey already, Oogway. I mean, this is just difficult to operate with. And on top of that, you're getting double team Meowscarada, not even sure where the target that you need to hit is. And then Absol to clean up the trash. You need coaching with a great composition here.
Yeah, I mean, I think You Need Coaching has a really strong answer. But, of course, there's some great stuff on the side of Nemesis as well. However, if you look at the levels here, 2 level 9s for You Need Coaching right now. That's 2 Unite moves ready to go with the Absol and Meowscarada as we head towards the top path. We've got 3 members of Nemesis already here. You Need Coaching cleaning up as much experience as they can as they make their way to the top path.
Yeah, they're going to need a lot of it. Is Nemesis trying to take a page out of You Need Coaching's book. Meowscarada Unite going to eject reposition and subsequently get a knockout here on Metallic with the Suicune's help. Sorting out the Blissey is Vin Diesel, and now they're stepping on Pat here to see what else they can do. Finally, Relic's getting one back the other way, but they eat an Absol Unite to cut that off real quick. And now it's Bora Reach just looking down 3 players that are just dunking all over him.
Yeah, scoring in this top path. You Need Coaching up 142 to 61. Felt like a great fight for them. They knew they had their Unite moves ready to go, and they took that advantage, right? They went for that KO quickly on the Urshifu, continued to push. And when you see Blissey is only level 7 and can't provide Bliss assistance, it's time for you to put a lot of pressure on your opponents. You Need Coaching did just that.
Mean look on Relics, caught there, and you see everything going in, forcing out the Umbreon Unite to put more pressure on. Regieleki on the doorstep. Bora Reach going to try and hold it back, and so is Asinable. But this is a tall order for these two. Surfing away from the Whirlpool is at least good enough to stop the push, and Regieleki is going to be able to be dealt with here, as Rex seems to be caught.
Yeah, Rex caught a little bit, gonna have to back up from this. They're not able to push that Regieleki in, but they are able to score in the top path regardless. 61-17 now here for You Need Coaching. They're ahead, I mean, an incredible way at the 5-minute mark. We see Meowscarada looking at this fight, moving in with a really aggressive Unite move and now peeling back. Whoa! Caught by the snipe shot. It looks like it walked right back into it.
Absolutely did. Poor Machisler stepping right back into it. Regirock's already at half. Tons of moves being thrown. Good secure by Bora Reach. They're stepping up for this team. Bliss assist on Metallic, but they are frozen in place and can't even get into the backside of You Need Coaching to try and punch holes through more players.
Yeah, and here we have Nemesis peeling back to secure as much of their wild experience as they possibly can right now. No objective up on the map. This is the time of a match where you really just make sure that you are online with your Unite moves and as much XP as possible. Absol almost level 13 already. We have a couple members of Nemesis keeping close with the Inteleon, with the Urshifu, all at level 11.
Listen, we saw a big tide swing earlier today with just a couple knockouts in the top path. Slow beam is a good catch. Can they get the knockout? They do. Great job to get Vin locked down on that engagement. But the slow beam is gone, and now Nemesis has to work with what other tools they have. Whirlpool is down, moving forward, going for a freeze. Metallic gets into the back line, immediately getting the pressure on. Suicune Unite doesn't catch anybody. Meowscarada Unite right on top of Regieleki, but they can't secure it. Metallic weaving and dodging and weaving, getting that Regieleki secured for the team, and all of Nemesis just runs away as Relics gets some points downstairs.
Yeah, great stuff from Relics in the bottom path right there, just being able to score in a moment like this. They're not sure if they can push this Regieleki in, and after how that fight went, they weren't able to, but they do get to put some points on the board. Nice big Unite move, another targeted Unite onto the Absol so that they can continue to push and make something happen here. They'd rather Inteleon score than Blissey, but at this point, they need to break some goals, give themselves some positioning around this next objective. We have Asnable fighting in the top path, pushing off Meowscarada, multiple members of Nem, getting ready for that bottom objective here. This is going to be the last objective, I believe, that we see before Ray.
Yeah, great advanced positioning by Nemesis. However, Unk Squad is ready to roll through, and a good pot shot by Bora Reach. Gonna have to slow down that Absol on the backside. Uguay catches the next one, and now we're gonna see how this shakes out.
And now we can see, you know, they've got that very nice shield on top of Metallic here, but they're really throwing everything at Metallic, and we get an Ice Beam for a takedown and a Snipe Shot the other way. We lose the Umbreon, and we lose the Urshifu. Regice now being chipped up.
Man, you're really seeing what the problem is with Urshifu into what Unk has brought to the table. I mean, they were just CC'd into the floor. They couldn't even move, Spraggles.
Yeah, completely stuck in a moment like that, and it's tough. I mean, it's what I would expect is going to happen with this Pokemon, but they're trying to use this safeguard as an opportunity for it to move in and fight. One thing is for sure, even when it goes down, Nemesis has a lot of tools at their disposal still. If it goes down, they have a Unite move from Ceruledge, they have Inteleon that's been landing their shots in some pretty impressive ways here today. As we get ready for this fight, Nem behind right now, you need coaching ahead. They're able to let Nemesis move in and make a mistake. Two members of Nem looking to score in the top path right here. Meowscarada is going to push them off that top path goal zone while the teams continue to position around Rayquaza. So we have Machizel watching that top path, and we're going to see how Nemesis wants to play this. Considering they're behind, they're the team that has to make the move here, Doopsnacks.
Yeah, I mean, we're still scrapping up top. Some damage is going in on Meowscarada here. Mean look on Asnable. They can't get out of the bush. They decide to collapse, and the defender is down as the next target there. Ceruledge Unite just catches JL in the backline on the Suicune, and it's not even enough to get the knockout. Mean look is down. Snipe Shot separates Vin Diesel from half of their HP. Now we're going back through. Machizel's chasing down, but that's the body double, and they're not too concerned about that. They're not going to switch into it. Moving straight forward here is you need coaching as they're trying to see who they can catch, and they're going to put some pressure on. Take a deep breath.
Yeah, they're taking a breath right here, but Nemesis does not have a lot of time left. They're starting to chip Rayquaza. The Snipe Shots hit. Meowscarada deciding whether or not they want to move in, and here they go.
Massive trap Suicune Unite into the Snow Globe, and that's a ton of ice. Call it the Ice Age here, and there is no squirrel to find the last nut as you need coaching gets all the success in that exchange. Relics is going to try and backcap, but it's not going to match what Unk is doing.
That's right. Unk putting in points in the top and bottom goal zone. Brings them up 317, now 417, 235. Scoring in their main base right here. Raining the points in. No Rayquaza is needed for Unk to win game number 1.
Well done by You Need Coaching. I just think they had a better draft, Spraggles, and it was just too tough for anything of Nemesis to operate. I mean, you saw how quickly these players were getting locked down whenever they were trapped in the Mean Look. It was like a focus fire attempt, CC after CC, damage chain after damage chain, and it was just systematic elimination.
Yeah, I mean, I have to be honest, looking at Nemesis draft there, I don't really know how they were going to make that work. It's just, I mean, 1 KO for Metallic. You're hoping this thing can move in and carry your team in some really big ways, right? Obviously, if you look across the board, there wasn't a ton of fighting between these two squads, so it's not like they're a massive amount of KOs, but boy, you hope you can keep up with one of the top players on the other team with the 6 KOs from Vin Diesel. I don't know how Urshifu fights there.
I choosing purple side to get the first pick, but I don't actually see the first pick being the difference maker in whether the purple team is winning or losing. You know what I'm saying? So, I kind of prefer the orange side because I feel like there's so many strong Pokemon right now that getting the counter options, like the more counter positions within the draft, is beneficial here.
And here we go. First pick to Nemesis. They have the opportunity to take Absol here, which feels like it could be quite strong. I feel like a lot of teams prioritizing it, and there it is. Absol taken first. This does allow Suicune once again to be picked up.
Suicune and Blissey.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're quickly going to that. And one of these two players is going to have to go from support to pseudo support in the Blissey tank, but I don't think they're too upset about that.
We're going to see the next couple of picks right here for the side of Nemesis. I'm not sure what they want to bring into this match right now, seeing that. Feels like they were having a really hard time playing into Suicune, and to be fair, it is really tough to play into this Pokemon. They do decide to snap up Inteleon. That feels great. It outranges, Suicune by a considerable amount, and we still do have the Slowbro pickup from Nem.
Yeah, just giving you late game coverage in case the other team tries any like speedster geared shenanigans. And it is one of Asnable's stronger tanks that they play. My concern is that it sends back over the potential for an Umbreon again, which is pretty much what Uwe has played all day long. But it looks like they don't care. They're locking in a Mamoswine, they're locking in a Garchomp, and they're having some fun.
Metallic here on the Buzzwole. This feels like a really interesting choice. Now, Buzzwole feels stronger to me when you have something on the opposing side that wants to dive in and fight you. It gives you the opportunity to pick them up and slam them down. You must be a happy camper right now, Doob Snacks, because Nemesis is bringing back the s'mores for you, aka the Sableye.
Yeah, I love seeing the Sableye here. I'm going to have to chew a little bit on what the strategy with that Sableye is going to be, because I don't see a lot of Supremo targets on the other side that you'd really want to be using the Sableye to facilitate into. But at least Unk played into the hands of Metallic and gave them one speedster to be able to wrestle with that Buzzwole.
Yeah, interesting stuff here. I mean, I think they do need to pick one up for Vin, right? I think Vin's just been absolutely insane on some of these speedsters today, so I'm not surprised. I don't know that Leafeon has had the same kind of impact that Talonflame, Zeraora, Absol have had in some of these games, but we're going to have to see what they want to do here heading into game number 2. I like the Inteleon to outrange just about everything, everything on the side of you need coaching, outside of maybe a Leafeon jumping in to do some damage. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm very interested to see, how does Sableye factor into this? How does Buzzwole factor into this with only, I guess they have two Pokemon who want to dive. We've got Garchomp and we've got Leafeon. Maybe the plan would be to disrupt one of those two. The only problem with Garchomp diving in is it's Dragon Claw right into its Unite move, so it's kind of unstoppable once it enters a fight. Right. We'll see how they can react to that here as we head into our second game. Nem would love to take 2 in a row, not reset this at all, and win the April Cup for sure.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, right? But as our dear friend Ender has often said, it's just real tough beating somebody twice from the loser's bracket, and that has come to fruition time and time again. So we'll see if Nemesis can kind of crack the code here and get themselves consecutive W's.
And here we are heading into game number 2 of our grand finals. Nemesis, your purple team, you need coaching. Your orange team 1 game up, looking to reset this bracket right here. Metallic getting pretty aggressive in this top path, seeing if they can take them down after Sableye engages right there. Not able to pick up a KO just yet.
Good pressure here by these two Ice-type Pokemon, really making sure that the Slowpoke and this Sobble have to stick on pad. Good secure, though, and Sobble is good at that.
Yeah, Sobble has incredible secure. Absol sneaking down to the bottom path right here on the side of Nemesis, seeing if they can make something happen, and now moving back up top, deciding to rotate back up to fight a disengagement in the top path against the not yet Blissey and not yet Garchomp, the little Chansey and the Gibble.
Here comes Vin, big sweeping around with the leaf up top. So we've got a fair fight here, 3v3. We'll see. There you go, trying to follow up the engagement. They actually dive back on top of the birds, get the knockout anyways as Sobble evolves into Drizzile, and now they're chasing down another target. So ultimately, a great little look by Nemesis, getting a couple quality KOs early in the top path.
Yeah, nice stuff by Nemesis right there. I mean, the Sableye going down was actually a little surprising in that moment. Blissey, I believe, picking up that KO. Blissey's always there to secure something it shouldn't be securing at all. As we take a look at this bottom path, Lutano at level parity with the Slowbro, so they're definitely not crushing it down here.
No, and that's a good point of order to bring up. It is not that support Suicune. Once they grabbed the Mamoswine, they switched things around and went a little bit more traditional support core and forcing that all-rounder to start attacking a little bit more. Good fear in the engage, swiping some money out from that Gibble, but there's not much Metallic can do as they're just trying to defend this goal zone. Well, it was 4v2, now it's 4v1, now it's 4v3. Let's see if they can convert on a KO here, and they do. The Piloswine goes down.
Now it's 3v3, and they disengage. I was just hoping we were going to continue doing math the whole way. That Caltrops got me. I was hoping it was going to be a 3v2 turned into a 2v3, but it wasn't.
Nope, that was the Caltrops of math we were doing there.
Yeah, you know we'd get confused at some point right there. That really is a Caltrops for us. As we see the pull right here using the Dragon Rush, bringing the experience back to their side. We've got Absol looking for big-time KOs, picks up one on Blissey. And there's another one that goes down, and Inteleon securing that in the top path. Bottom path here, you need coaching, wrecking that bottom goal zone and taking the Slowbro KO.
Yeah, if they're heads up, they realize that they've at least got an opportunity to get some points and then take advantage of it. Vin, without much in the pockets, they rotate away. And ultimately, not a lot goes in there, just a couple points. Oogway going to sit there, sees that the Slowbro runs right past them. They based back, Regice getting worked on solo by Vin Diesel.
Yeah, nice secure there for the side of You Need Coaching. As we have an objective moving to the top path here, Absol Unite move does not pick up a KO. Metallic picking him up, putting him down, and they are looking to siege this goal zone, Doob Snacks.
Wow, great work by Rex in the backside to facilitate that knockout by Relics here. Now the two-step comes through and Vin Diesel flips the script a little bit, but that would have been way, way worse if we didn't have that 1-2 punch at a Nemesis in the back line. Well done by Nemesis, but even more better done. You need coaching. There's words in there.
That's how I order my steaks. I'll have my steaks better done, please. Thank you very much. As we head to the top path here, we have Vin Diesel looking to make something happen. The Confuse Ray actually puts a lot of damage onto the Blissey, and now they see that snipe shot hit Leafeon. They were looking to see if they could actually pick that one up there. Not enough of a follow-up from Nemesis right here, as these teams are incredibly close. 111 to 101. Scoreline very close for these two squads. We have multiple members of coaching now in the central area of Nemesis, and that is the Suicune freezing them as the Inteleon tries to run.
I really like the You Need Coaching pressure there, going straight into the central area. A bit of a miss, it looks like, there on the engagement from the Sableye, so Garchomp is going to get out, surf back for the cover. But where's Metallic going? It looks like they're going on a mission, and I don't really like where they're at unless they can surprise a single target, which they do. Rex is there with the follow-up. Confused Ray stun, chop through him, and a knockout for the Sableye.
Yeah, really nice stuff there from Nemesis. I mean, you just saw the chain of crowd control effects onto that Pokemon between the, knockoff and the Confuse Ray and the Smackdown and the Superpower. Just too many things.
That was an interesting engagement. Good thing the Garchomp Unite came right out. Otherwise, they would have been in far more trouble. Metallic pops their Unite move. We have the Emerald two-step back the other way, chopping them up to try and get away. Razor Leaf isn't quite ranged enough to get them. And now into the backside is Oogway putting pressure on here. Relics susses it out as we are stomping around as the Mamoswine, but the Regieleki's getting worked on, and all of a sudden Nemesis is all around it, and it's taken. Sableye gets a knockout on Leafeon, and Garchomp takes out Inteleon as the Regieleki marches towards Unk.
And Sableye with the secure there on this Regieleki. I get asked a lot, like, how do you play a good Sableye? And I feel like you are watching one of the best in the entire game right now. The way you set up fights for your team, coming in and disrupting important members of the squad so your team can finish with big KOs. Rex is almost like a singular Sableye player in that they are that good.
Yeah, no, they're incredibly strong at it, and was part of kind of that resurgence we saw mid-season where all of a sudden Sableye felt like it was everywhere and it needed to be picked or at least banned because, you know, Rex was just making it look that good. Now, Regice is at half. Definitely has the positional advantage, so Rex is going to have to leverage this and probably just get some points in on the backside. Looks like that's what they're going to do here. Get some level of value as gets the basement Reggie for free.
Yeah, we can see Sableye trying to run away from Leafeon right here. Very fast Pokemon right into picking him up, slamming him down right now. Buzz will Unite move onto the Blissey, misses the Leafeon there. Sableye is going to go down. The snipe shots miss. They're not able to pick up the KO they want to as they move back in, and Garchomp now makes it a double.
Yeah, that was a rough engagement on a 4v2 when it's just a Sableye. Yes, Sableye can facilitate good engagements, but you really want more firepower there when you're doing that. Good Unite move by the Absol. Can they actually leverage that into a KO since they got knocked out for it? And it doesn't look like they're going to be successful.
And here we have a level 14 Garchomp on the side of You Need Coaching. One thing that Garchomp is amazing at, Doob Snacks, is just roaming around the map and cleaning up farm as well as objectives if it's all alone. And you can see Machizzle right now hanging out at almost level 15. In about 30 seconds, we're going to have Rayquaza. If they can win here, they're going to take Nemesis to a bracket reset.
That's exactly what Nem is looking for. Now, they are a little bit behind of experience, but they're trying to stretch this lead on the scoreboard out to really put the pressure on Unk to do something at this Rayquaza. Regieleki is leashing a little bit. Might be less frustrating than you'd think, because that means it's going to have a little bit more time to march towards that goal zone.
Yeah, and here we have it walking into that goal zone. It has plenty of time on it. The way they could score this right now, and they are going to be looking to do this perfectly. 7 points left in this goal zone. They could peel a quick 50 for the extra 100. 311, 261 right now.
Yeah, they
Great
still have
stuff.
the lead. Still have the lead. Nemesis needs to adjust, though. They know what's going on now.
Yeah, and here we have multiple members of You Need Coaching moving around. Metallic standing in their tall grass, finding them, but here's the Ice Fang.
Ice Fang is there. You have the big snipe shot cover, which is going to let Metallic get away.
Wow, what a crazy fight. I mean, you expected them to move in, but they couldn't find anyone. The snipe shots continue to ring out as they are looking for members of You Need Coaching. Nem is up right now. You Need Coaching looking to tap Rayquaza, but really they want to catch someone in a big fight. Here comes a Dragon combo onto the Slowbro. Slow Beam used with the Absolute Unite move, and they didn't pick up the KO right away.
That is absolutely wild work. Garchomp catches the Bliss Assistance. Good recovery by Unk. And now the chase is on. Relics is standing there all by themselves. The rest of You Need Coaching is in the middle, but they know exactly where this Absol is. It's just the Sableye gonna have to try and move in, make a play. They have their Unite move. They can make something happen here. No, the Leafeon secures. Unk gets it done, but they're resetting 2 at least. Is that enough time for Nemesis to defend? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, we're going to find out. Blissey with a massive shield. We have Leafeon in the bottom path with Suicune. They're not able to stop the score from Leafeon. That puts them up 449 after we have a score in the top path as well. Rex looking to score in the main goal zone. They do. Gets them to 349. Only 100 points separate these two teams, but multiple shields on the side of You Need Coaching is going to be very difficult to break all of these, if any.
Yeah, they are going to be an absolutely fruitless endeavor here. Way too many shields, not enough firepower, and on top of that, they're still getting knocked out here. Unk going to take this 2-0 and reset this bracket.
Wow, I mean, that entire match came down to whether or not the Garchomp goes down in that moment. They take a slow beam, they take an Absol Unite move, they barely make it out, and then it's caught with a Bliss Assistance to stay around. Like, I can't believe it, but that is just a huge level diff right there, with Garchomp being, I think, either 15 or almost 15 in that moment.
Yeah, that's absolutely gutting. Credit to Nemesis for identifying their path to victory, right? And getting themselves in a position to execute on that. However, they were missing just a hair more in that exchange. They needed, like, Bora Reach to ring out a snipe shot, but credit to Oogway was putting tons of pressure in the back line and really separating Inteleon for the rest of the team. So again, we see Unk put themselves the back against the wall, but they adjust well. They counter punch out of the corner and find themselves with a win.
Yeah, great stuff from You Need Coaching. I mean, I do think if that Garchomp goes down, we're looking at a possibly very different game against Nem, and now it is all evened up here, Dupe Snacks.
We are right back into draft. No delays here. No delays in April. We're getting into it. Hoopa band, Zacian band, Zeraora band, and the last one is Talonflame. Let's see where Nem goes.
Yeah, let's see what Nem decides to pick here. Some interesting stats being fed to us here by our production team. Hoopa, with that ban right there, actually has the top win rate in the tournament. 53 wins, a 29% pick rate, but a 67% win rate, Dupe Snacks.
Completely impressive. Actually, highest ban rate, I think, based on those same stats, is actually Suicune, and we're seeing how devastating it can be. Now, Unk is going to get Absol and the Suicune here, and they're off to the races with a great draft.
Yeah, this is a really strong start for You Need Coaching as we take a look at Nemesis and what they want to do here. Blissey, obviously such an important pick, right? That Bliss Assistance saves some crazy moments in a fight. Next couple picks over here to Nem. They're hovering a Crustle, they're hovering a Lapras. We're going to see how they want to play this. Bora locking in the Armarouge.
Yeah, that's a really early Armarouge as well. I'd like to pick the brains of Bora on that selection a little bit later on. As Oogway going to lock in Umbreon. If that's been there, they've pretty much picked it, save for the last game we just saw. So You Need Coaching really understands what they need to give their defender player. Is Machisel going to follow suit here and grab the Garchomp again? Because it looked pretty darn good last game.
Yeah, and here we go. We've got Umbreon, we've got the Garchomp, and that Garchomp did look pretty fantastic. Next couple of picks over to Nemesis, we have the Darkrai and the Buzzwole. Darkrai's had a really interesting weekend, it feels like. You know, it doesn't seem to be a top pick, but whenever a team is very good with it, used well, I think it has some massive moments. I was watching some games in EU where Toon was playing the Darkrai, looked incredibly impressive. Some games we saw earlier on stream. Darkrai sets up big moments, obviously. It has the, you know, most single target delete button unite move in the entire game.
It absolutely does, and we've seen it be successful, both kind of carrying the light bulb, right, being that more support, kind of lag behind in levels to the rest of the team type character and really facilitate engagements or help clean them up. And now we're just seeing a kind of damage carry version in the hand of Relics. I must point out, Glaceon selected by Lutano here, ready to just step in, and always the reactionary is Lutano, and so far their judgment's been very good in this last pick spot.
Yeah, I think Lutano's attacker pool is quite deep. Honestly, I think Lutano plays his best game when he is at range, able to counterpunch his opponents the entire time. We saw massive moments with Gardevoir, with Snipe Shot, with Solar Beam Venusaur, with Inteleon. So it does feel like he has a lot of options depending on what the opponents are throwing at them. Without having to worry about an insane amount of dive, you're really able to output crazy damage with Glaceon.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you know, whichever version they go, the Icy Wind, which we saw like Neon playing earlier today, or the Icicle Spear, both have a lot of value, and they're going to be able to shred some of these targets down.
Here we go. Nemesis, your purple team. You Need Coaching, your orange team. You Need Coaching coming from the losers bracket, winning 2-0 against Nemesis to reset your grand finals. Now they are just 2 more wins away from winning their first monthly event. Nemesis, on the other hand, needs 2 wins, or they are not able to take down another monthly event without some of the biggest names in North America, like OJ and LG.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely want this one, not only for their pride, but also to say they can win a second one this year. And Unk, trying to be the upstarts that they are, from just the old folks' home, crawling out of retirement to see what they can do in the Thea Sky Ruins. And so far, they're performing well.
Yeah, nice stuff right there. I Need Coaching, able to get that last hit secure in this bottom path. You know, we need to get Glaceon online. They need level 6 as quickly as they can. Unlike some of the other EVs, once Glaceon hits 4, it has a new move, but it's not quite ready to go until it gets its second move. Relic's in some trouble right here, being caught by the Umbreon, as this fight is already breaking out in the top path. You Need Coaching getting really aggressive.
Yeah, super aggressive here, well covered by Relics. If they can do enough damage, they're going to be in good shape. Putting a couple targets to sleep is actually enough to push back all of You Need Coaching. So what looked like a big tidal wave of orange, really well mitigated by purple.
Interesting thing to see Bora on this Armarouge. Armarouge has definitely had some moments today specifically, but when you have the option of grabbing Inteleon, it is, you know, curious to see someone playing Armarouge instead. Same kind of thing when you see someone on Crustal when they could have picked something like Psyduck. Some very interesting choices from Nemesis.
Yeah, maybe defaulting to comfort here, trying to realizing that their back is against the wall, like, you know, pull out, instead of pulling out all the stops, maybe we just go with a little bit more comfort. Relic's getting a ton of damage put on them. Looks like they have an opportunity to make it out. Good coverage by Bora Reach, picked up and slammed by Metallica's Lutano. They are able to convert on that KO. The Whirlpool was out, but couldn't quite freeze a target. Oogway goes down. KO streak of 2 for Bora. How is Nemesis going to look here? Are they going to go ahead and push? Seems to be the order of the day, as Relics is looking to get to the backside. They're going to get some points in very successfully, Spraggles.
Yeah, really nice stuff here from Nemesis. They're able to continue putting pressure on if they want to, but they do peel away from this goal zone with multiple members of You Need Coaching coming up to defend. They decide to stop their assault on the goal, but they could move in at any moment. Darkrai going in right here, trying to put them to bed. There's the big time Psyshock and the armor cannon for a KO.
That was all set up by Azabel. A great Rock Tomb and a perfect X Scissor is going to send all of Unk scrambling, resulting in 2 quality KOs, and now more points are going in. Are they going to break this thing early and give the experience? They decide to, Spraggles.
Yeah, they decide to break it, which gives them the opportunity to watch Regieleki push towards their tier 2 goal zone. Meanwhile, You Need Coaching has Absol on the bottom path. They secure that bottom objective, and now we're going to see if Nemesis wants to deal with this at all. It looks like they're completely walking away from the objective, moving down towards the bottom path, possibly looking to assault the tier 1, also possibly looking to just peel around the map and find as much experience as they can.
Absolutely. Azabel babysitting there for Nemesis to make sure Vin Diesel doesn't get points in for free, and really so they can call out to the team to let them know what the rest of You Need Coaching is doing. Nice Rock Tomb down, and that's a good precursor because they're trying to work that Indeedee through. Dropping down from the top is Bora Reach. Nice pot shot onto Vin Diesel. Good repositioning by Oogway. The Rock Tomb is out, and Nemesis gets out.
Yeah, Nemesis gets out. Now we see we've got this play here from the Darkrai, but it's a very dangerous position to be in. Goes down immediately to You Need Coaching. I don't know if it was looking to throw the Unite move and it maybe got canceled in that moment. I couldn't really tell. But either way, Darkrai goes down instantly in that fight. Armarouge now goes down as they continue pushing towards this tier 1. Great plays here from You Need Coaching. Score line back in their favor.
Yeah, I think they got a 25 over downstairs to go ahead and pick up the lead here. And I'm with you. I was seeing where Relics was. It seemed like Vin Diesel was the exact target they wanted to pick up. That just happened to wander into their hands, and they couldn't quite execute. So I don't know what happened there, but Relics has got to be looking for a good opportunity to throw that Unite move here, especially at level 10, with the ability to get some of this catch-up experience.
Yeah, I think it had to be looking for that Unite right there, but they kind of had a reverse Caltrop situation where they laid a trap and it just didn't seem to work out. Absolute Unite move, Buzzwole right back the other way, taken down by Vin. Garchomp moves forward, putting some pressure on Nemesis, and they're going to push them out.
Now Rex is going to get chased a little bit. I'm looking for the Relics flank here. They still have their Unite move with some good targets that they can nab as the basement Reggie gets ripped through with no one to contend for Nemesis.
And here they go, taking Registeel. Registeel, kind of a brutal buff for Glaceon too. It's just able to attack at range for ludicrous damage already. Now a massive damage increase from Glaceon as they continue to rain ice shards onto their opponent. You Need Coaching moving on to this goal zone right here. And there's not a lot Nemesis can do in this moment.
No, not at all. Not with the pressure that they're putting on and the presence that they're showing here. Metallic is there. Azabel runs all the way back to base to get some HP, jumps through, Dragon Rush sorts out Metallic, and Azabel can't stop the points from going in. 221-106. Unk commanding the score.
Yeah, this is great for You Need Coaching right now. They're fighting very well. We do have Nemesis looking to score back the other way. Absol running to the bottom path. Glaceon here to try to defend. And we may see Nemesis peel away from this.
Potentially. They seem to get a little squirrely here. They want to get a decent engagement. Those Icicle Spears are finding good targets. Bliss Assistance on Metallic tells me they're going for it, of course. JL goes down, but that is just to support Suicune. Nemesis looks to rotate, and they would love to get another target here.
Yeah, we have Regieleki not even at half right now. They haven't had anyone with any firepower up there to deal with it, as we finally have Glaceon make their way to the top path. Now this match is once again incredibly close. 198, 221, so a very small score separates these two teams. Nemesis right back in this thing, and I gotta say, the fights that they coordinate when Buzzwole is able to get a pick have been really incredible. Honestly, the best I think I've seen Metallic on throughout this entire tournament is Buzzwole.
Yeah, they're Metallic. Metallic's Buzzwole has been great. I'm looking at these levels here. 3 level 13s on the side of You Need Coaching, with 3 level 12s trying to contend on the other side. We need to bring that to parity here, because that is a tough gap to close, especially because it's across 3 players and it's all across all the damage dealers here.
Yeah, and here we have the Armor Cannon moving in. Gets to Regice. This could turn into a Ray fight depending on how long we stall this for. Dragon combo away from this. Nice Armor Cannon catches multiple members of You Need Coaching. No one deciding they want this fight. I think You Need Coaching might just decide to let Nemesis have this. No! They decide to steal it instead. JL with the Ice Beam. Let's go.
I mean, that's a dagger, because that would have easily ticked over a lot of players on Nemesis to that level 13 I was talking about. And now we have 7 seconds until this Rayquaza make it 5, and You Need Coaching feels in control.
Yeah, You Need Coaching feels good here. They're ahead on the scoreboard. They're ahead with that buff from the most recent Reggie, right? And now they're ready for a fight. They've got a good experience lead. They need to catch a member of Nemesis, and most importantly, I think they need their Glaceon not to go down. If their Glaceon can just get a couple hits as a level 14, it's pretty much over for Nemesis. But if they can get a sneaky catch, take down Glaceon, they could be in a great spot.
Well, there's the Icicle Spears going straight towards Asimbo, but that opens up the Metallic flank right in the backside. They're going straight for JL. Bliss Assistance isn't time, but we're throwing all the moves. The Glacial Stage is down. We've popped the Umbreon Unite as well, and we're going to keep moving through. The fight roars on, and it's the Garchomp Unite that's putting in tons of work. Absol and Tandem, it's just the Darkrai standing. Those Icicle Spears find their mark, and that's through the hearts of Nemesis, as they're going to take this Rayquaza in Game 1 of the bracket reset.
Wow, I mean, it really did feel like if you don't take Glaceon, you have no way to win this. They went for it. They tried to make a big play. We had the Darkrai Unite move, it looked like, on Garchomp, but it was so early that it wasn't able to get a KO. Massive fight there for You Need Coaching. And as I said previously, if that Glaceon does not go down, allowing it to deal damage multiple times as a level 14 just feels like a recipe for disaster for Nem.
So now, I mean, how do you win the next game if you're Nemesis, Spraggles? That's what I'm thinking about right now. They have lost the last 3 in these grand finals. And you want to talk about motivation. You want to talk about momentum. Motivation on Nemesis' side has to be low. Momentum is certainly not with them now. How do they adjust?
Yeah, I wonder what you try to do against a team that just seems to have your number right here. You know, if you're sinking in quicksand, one of the worst things you can do is struggle against it, from what I understand. But then you got to get someone to pull you out, because you can't do nothing when you're in quicksand, okay? I mean, if you just hang out there, you'll eventually sink in the quicksand as well, right? So I think you're gonna look, okay, the quicksand metaphor has really run its course, because I don't even know how you get out of quicksand. But Nemesis is stuck in it right now, and I don't think any of the looks they've thrown at him look particularly great. Maybe keep the Buzzwole, maybe keep the Armarouge. I'm not sure that Crustle has been doing it for them. Hopefully they have more Pokemon in their pool, because this was a tough one.
This was difficult indeed. At this point, my question mark is, what else can Joey play besides this Umbreon, Oogway? We did see one game of Mamoswine, but I think the Umbreon is, again, just a difference.
I do think it's tough once you're in this place, in a grand finals. The bracket's been reset against you. You are down, but you are not out. Do not panic, Nemesis. Increase your surface area. If possible, find someone near you that has a branch nearby that can help you.
Step number 1, not the entire team can't be in the quicksand, right? Somebody has to be out of the quicksand to help the people increasing their surface area to pull them out. So do that, right? Whatever that means.
I mean, we're going to have to see how they want to make that happen here as we head into our next game. Absol and Suicune once again. Suicune does not shock me as a priority pick at all. I mean, it's just so strong. I feel like it's been so difficult for Nemesis to fight against it, and they don't have another great speedster option, it seems like. I don't know if they have a Meowscarada player. I don't know if anyone wants to pick up Gengar or anything like that. Bora now deciding to take Miraidon. This may be, you know, an option for them. The nice thing about Miraidon is if they decide to play it at extreme range, Charge Beam can do some serious damage and whittle down your opponents. But now it looks like Lutano is possibly going to answer that with an attacker of their own. We'll see what that last pick's going to look like as we have two speedsters once again for You Need Coaching.
Yeah, at least I like what Nemesis did here and grabbed the Umbreon out from Uguay, so they had to at least select something different, so we'll see how good their Snorlax is. And the Meowscarada here with the double speedster look is something that You Need Coaching has been doing all game long. Now, Buzzwole with Metallic, unsurprising, they've been a top performer for the team. And where are they going to put relics for their tournament life?
It looks like it could be this Gengar, and I mean, I totally understand this decision right here. It could definitely be what they need to win this thing. This could be their branch. This could be taking off their jacket. This could be increasing their surface area. This also could be panicking right now, putting another jacket and another backpack on and saying, I'll get out of this quicksand one way or another. We're going to have to see how this Gengar performs.
Yeah, instead of like putting on an additional backpack, it's like somebody else on the team is throwing you something to help you out, but they keep like forgetting to hold on to their end, so you're just getting covered in stuff that they're trying to pull you out with, but you're just getting pushed deeper into the quicksand, and I'm pretty sure we have run the course on the quicksand as well. Back to the Caltrops.
Yeah, I can't believe we strayed away from Caltrops so long to deal with this quicksand nonsense, but I really do think it was an important moment for the broadcast and something that will be remembered forever. Just a few moments left before we head into what could, you know, be the last game here of the April Cup. You Need Coaching, one game away from winning this entire thing. You gotta believe that this would be pretty devastating for Nemesis, not only because Nemesis could win a cup on a normal month, but as we've talked about many times, no Luminosity Gaming, no Orange Juicers. This feels like Nemesis Cup to lose, honestly.
It does, and they are on the verge of doing so. And we can't discredit all the work that Unk has put in today. They have been reacting great in drafts, winning a lot of their games, I think, in the draft screen, if I'm being completely honest. And the games that they did find a little bit more draft parity, they're winning it in execution at Ray fights and things like that. Unk is looking tough.
And here we go. Nemesis, your purple team. You Need Coaching, your orange team. This is the grand finals. The bracket reset here in April for North America. One more win and You Need Coaching will be your April Cup champions.
Quickly scrapping in the bottom path is, of course, Lutano, Uguay. We've got Bora Reach over there as well. And rounding out Asnable. They've been squaring up for the last 3 games, and finally Nemesis needs to get the better of that exchange.
Here we have Rex in the top path looking to try to get it secure. They are able to take that. Metallic now moving forward towards Machisel, seeing if there's anything they can do. Some experience in the top path heading both ways here. Looks like the bottom path working out very well for Nemesis so far.
Yeah, and they need to get ahead early here. A quick Azadable evolution would help and do wonders. Unfortunately, can't quite get that one out from under You Need Coaching. Now, Vin Diesel's already found their way to path and try and support, and so has Relics. Do they know he's there? That's the question.
This is the big question, if they're able to make a big play. Metallic can move in with the safeguard from Rex right here, and then they can move in for the play. Huge Dream Eater, and they are able to pick up that first KO, and they're going to continue moving forward.
and they're trying to go for the scores just to get more experience onto the Haunter. You would have loved for Relics to get credit for that knockout. Metallic did instead. No big deal. Move away, get your points in, and ultimately another good exchange for Nemesis. So we can say, at least for the first 90 seconds of this match, they've been doing pretty darn well.
Yeah, Nemesis actually playing well here, and it looks like they're winning this bottom path pretty handily, right? We've got a level 5 on the Miraidon. 5 the other way there for Lutano, but Miraidon now ticked over to 6. We have Vin on the Absol level 6 moving through the center right here, and we should have another fight at about 8 minutes as we have multiple members of Unique Coaching moving to the top path here.
Yeah, we'll see how Nemesis adjusts. Obviously, Rex is giving him the information. We're going for a little bit of a flank here. First exposed is the Absol. Relics wants that as a prime target. They go straight in. That's one combo, and the charge beam comes through to rip through another player. Give them the credit for 2. And now scrambling away is Lutano, trying to get spacing, but they're going to be cut off by this charge beam Miraidon again. And there's a secure out of the Blissey.
Yeah, really nice stuff here so far from Nemesis. You can now give it to 2 minutes 30 seconds where they're doing well in this match, Dupe Snacks. And we will continue keeping you updated to how long Nemesis is in control of this game. Right now, 2 minutes 30 seconds of absolute Nemesis domination.
Domination. We'll see what Asmo can do in the face of 2 here. Arguably pretty darn good. They left with a piece of that and evolved here. Charge Beam Miraidon, Bora Reach has been doing great maneuvering across this map, Spraggles. I'm really impressed at how quickly they're getting up and down, top to bottom path, and being impactful when they get there.
You can see the hindrance resistance saving Bora right there. It's a really nice effect there as we have Relics moving in with this Gengar, picking up the KO, picking up the objective. Massive, that's a double KO. You can see right now Nemesis is increasing their surface area. They're taking off the jacket, and Yeet Fan's putting on the backpack.
Well, don't put on the backpack.
Well, don't put on the backpack.
No, reach for the backpack. That's going to pull you to safety out of the quicksand now that you've increased your surface area and remove the jacket.
My gosh, don't put the backpack on, Nemesis. Take the backpack off. Continue to increase your surface area. We are now at 3 minutes 30 seconds of Nemesis control in this thing, Dupe Snack. So we've almost broken this tier 2.
Well, yeah, with 2 points left, that's the opportunity for a great overcap here, and Relics is not done. They're going straight for another engagement, and they're going to get some points in and close it out right then and there, making sure that that last Regieleki can go all the way downtown.
This is tough for Unique Coaching. They've had to fight and win a lot of games right here, and just when it's almost all sealed up, Nemesis comes online in a big way. Getting ready for another fight here. They take all of the experience in the center as we have Unique Coaching looking to make a play in the bottom path.
Yeah, I'm not too sure where the rest of Nemesis is. It's quite clear that the pressure is going to be downstairs, so they're going to have to go for a rotation here. Looks like Relics is just farming up on their lonesome, trying to get an even bigger level lead.
Yeah, and we have Unique Coaching looking for a possible moment here, but they are pushed away from this goal zone between Umbreon, between Miraidon, Blissey rotating down. They are able to make sure that they stop them. 5 members now of Unique Coaching in the bottom path. We have an objective spawning top, and it's possible that Nemesis is going to want to rip this off the board as quickly as they can. If they do it very, very fast, they will have another Regieleki before Rayquaza that could walk towards that home goal zone and create the old-fashioned Zapdos win condition for Nemesis.
Straight with the heavy slam block, not finding anybody. X speeding away back towards the rest of the team is Oogway. Regice is getting worked on, and no, Relics uses their Unite move, goes straight to the back line, pops Vin Diesel, Bliss Assistance is there on the backside, and now Metallic is going to start ripping through the back line. Moving through Charge Beam Miraidon, trying to find the Machisler, popped up, put down, as Metallic is wont to do. Machisler is on the razor's edge, and they finally go down. Buzzwole Unite on the Snorlax, they're gone, and now it's just Bora Reach, it's just Lutano on this Inteleon, looking to find some snipe shots, but ultimately bullied completely out of that bottom path.
I mean, Nemesis is just in control of this right now. In another 15 seconds, they will have 6 minutes of domination here in game number 2 of our bracket reset. This is pretty incredible for Nemesis. We were wondering how they were going to get out of the quicksand, Dupe Sex. I really think they have found some great answers on the side of Nem.
I'll tell you what, and this Gengar has been real fun to watch. Not gonna lie. This has probably been my favorite Pokemon that Relics has played today. And, obviously results bias here. It's the best one looking so far as well. As now we've got a block, we've got the Whirlpool, we've got just the Thunder raining down from the Rhydon. Charge Beam is there, can't quite get the secure out from Lutano. As let's see if You Need Coaching is going to push this. They're going to let it hit, which means there's a big overcap opportunity.
Yeah, there's a big overcap opportunity right here, and it looks like Nemesis just decides to not fight there. Let them have that. Possibly look for a fight here. Gengar in some trouble. You Need Coaching back in this thing. Picks up a big KO, and now they're coming back on the scoreboard. However, we do have Nemesis scoring in the bottom path. 270, 125.
That pick was kind of huge, dude.
Yes.
You Need Coaching now, no longer behind on levels. Gengar is not leading the lobby anymore, and Gengar has a heck of a time fighting from underneath, right? Being smaller than the opposing team, especially when the team has a bunch of crowd control that can really gum up what a Gengar's trying to do.
I'll say right now, Nemesis still in control of this match, still ahead, but it's getting very, very close. We've had about 7 minutes, 20 seconds of Nemesis being in control here, and they just need a little more to even up these grand finals. As we have You Need Coaching looking to make a play, they might be scoring in the top path, and I think Nemesis is well aware of this because they don't see anyone from You Need Coaching around. They're looking to secure this Regirock and get ready for a Rayquaza fight. If they're not careful, it's the last Ray fight of their tournament. You Need Coaching all hiding in the same bush here. The Caltrops have been laid, Dupe Snacks. The question is, will they walk into them? Will they spring the trap? Will they sink in the quicksand? Or will they take their jacket off and win this whole thing? Gengar goes down immediately.
They caught their target. That is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And there's the fight going to continue. It is. The safeguard is down. Blissus is in time on Metallic, but they're going to need way more than that to get this thing squared away. Oogway taking a ton of damage straight into the power nap here as Vin Diesel's running away, and Chisler's coming back in. Lutano pops their Unite move, and they're going to A-press everybody down with those critical hit shots. Boreach stepping in. We're putting a charge beam into the middle. Metallic took it. Metallic took it. Is there going to be anybody left standing to score, though? Finally, they put down the Blissey, and now everybody from Nemesis is scrambling to score.
Nemesis looking for some scores right here. Vin Diesel trying to move backwards to try to save it. Lutano looking to score in the top path. Here comes Metallic, putting a huge 50, make it 100 into that main goal zone. Boreach trying to do the same thing. Points raining in, 432, 225. This match is not over, but Nemesis is still ahead. 9 minutes of Nemesis controlling this match.
Now, we're looking for a push. You Need Coaching can work through this bottom path, and the Gengar is down for a long, long time. This is a moment, if you could ever call one. Maybe they can get one more Unite move online. Lutano getting caught here is crippling to this push attempt.
Yeah, this is not good for their push. It looks like You Need Coaching is going to go down here. Only 45 seconds left. Here's the defense from Nemesis. There really isn't much they can do as we have Metallic, the Buzzwole, continuing to move towards their goal zone to score. They would need to wipe every member of Nemesis off this goal zone and make a huge play, but it's so tough to do.
It is going to be incredibly difficult. They need 300 and some change points. Do they have enough time to do it? They're off to a pretty darn good start with that double overcap there, shrinking the lead down to 140 points. We're going to keep pushing forward. Are they going to be able to get it done? The time is running out. Miraidon resets, and no, Spraggles, no. You Need Coaching can't get it done on the counter push. Nemesis evens this thing up.
Nemesis right back in this game, grabbing that branch, wiggling their legs gently back and forth or side to side to create pockets of water around them, which helps loosen the quicksand's hold. Let's go. I enjoy this bit too much.
The quicksand bit continues on, just like our grand finals, headed into a game 3 here. And you have to tip the cap to this draft for Nemesis. It looked like a different beast, and You Need Coaching was having trouble contending with it, and they understood what they needed to do. They fed relics early, a bit of a weird catch near the end. However, they were still able to deliver because of a great play by Metallic in the middle.
Yeah, Metallic absolutely crushing it. As I said earlier, I think the best look we've seen from Metallic all day is this Buzzwole. And man, the Miraidon, the Gengar, what a 1-2 punch changeup from Nemesis. They looked so good. So the speedster doesn't get the KO as easily, so the attacker is left vulnerable, and on and on and on as we head into our final draft here in our grand finals. The bracket's been reset. You Need Coaching won 3 games in a row, but Nemesis is back showing signs of life. first ban is going over to the Suicune, followed by a Talonflame from Nemesis. We have the Zacian from You Need Coaching, and one final ban decision.
Well, I'll tell you what, I like You Need Coaching, maybe hearing us in the booth or me just kind of sussing out the strategy. They lost and they want to be in orange position. They want to be reactionary and they want to counterpunch what you're trying to do. With Zero Aura banned along with Suicune, Oogway selects this Umbreon first. And I think we have the team name swapped.
We do,
so,
yes. Good call.
A bit of a bummer for me. So disregard everything I just said. Purple side reigns supreme.
Yeah, there you go, baby. As we have Relics locking in this Absol. We have the Blissey on the side of You Need Coaching. So it was interesting because, on the side of Nemesis. We got to get those names switched, guys. We're going to Ron Burgundy this whole thing. We will announce the wrong winner, I can assure you. Lutano now locking in this Inteleon. They've been great on it. JL, no surprise to see the Hoopa back out.
No, JL's Hoopa's great. It's been great all day. Where is Nem gonna go though? They're able to have this Absol and this Blissey and hovering the Comfy seems wild to me, but we'll see where we end up, especially because you could easily just grab a Slowbro on the other side. I like this much better. Give Bora Reach the Miraidon.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate for Nemesis. I do think that call of taking away the Umbreon was a big deal, but now we see Oogway, aka Joey, sitting on that Umbreon as their first pick. Bora's Miraidon, though, looked pretty amazing. Next couple of picks here for You Need Coaching. We've got a possible, yes, Metagross. Interesting call.
Yeah, oh, wow. I'm not even going to engage with these hovers until it's locked in. Okay, Buswell makes some sense here. So Nemesis kind of ordering up a little bit more standard of what they would like to see. This Metagross is a big question mark to me. I'm surprised they didn't go back to like the Garchomp, something that Machisel has been doing really well with today.
Yeah, it's also possible that they know they can just play very well with this, especially into something like Absol. It could be very, very strong. They kind of know the range at which Absol wants to play. They hit a single Gyro Ball, and they know that they can be outside of KO range from that Absol. We'll see how this is going to work out. Metallic, on the other hand, running this Buzzwole once again. Very interesting build, I have to say, from Metallic, if this is the item selection they go. So they've got that new item, the new Bracer. They have a Muscle Band, which is great for your auto attacks, and a Focus Band. Buzzwole's natural attack stats aren't super high, so you do get some decent value out of a Bracer or Weakness Policy or something like that, but most players tend to stack on this Pokemon to give them that extra attack. We'll see if that's relevant at all for the side of Nemesis. I've not noticed the item selection earlier, so it's possible they've been running this all day, which, if they have been, they've looked fantastic. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about that, and, traditionally top path, these all-rounders, you do stack, right? That's kind of been the order of the day. However, if your opponent is trying to stack and you are grabbing an item that leverages KOs and doesn't have you play on that same axis, you can get some cheeky KOs and maybe stack on this lens a lot easier.
And here we are, Doob Snacks. You Need Coaching, your purple team. Nemesis, your orange team. And this is a match that I know that we have all been waiting for in our grand finals. The brackets reset. We're all tied up. Two incredible teams here in NA battling it out in your April Cup. The winner of this wins the entire thing. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oogway playing very far forward, going to put pressure on Bora Reach as they run back. And guess who's over there? Asnable scrambling for a berry with that Snorlax passive.
And here we go, seeing if we can get a secure here. Looks like that does go over to the side of Lutano, I believe. We have Relics, aka Yeetfan, in that bottom path. Vin moving through this central area, just trying to get as much experience as they can. Looks like they're going to let this blue buff head over to the side of Lutano.
Nothing too concerning right now in the early stages of this one. We are seeing the Sobble rotate up, so we've got a 4v3 in the top path here, really looking to help this Leafeon take over the game. Vin Diesel goes straight forward. They're eyeing down Metallic. Eject button used by both players, and Metallic makes it out.
And it looks like the Inteleon made it way too late to have something useful in that fight, as we do have some experience heading over to the side of You Need Coaching in the bottom path, but their sneaky play to send Inteleon up top did not work for that engagement.
Good rotation by Vin Diesel to see that Aznable was putting tons of pressure on and tries to leave with the red buff but is unsuccessful.
Yeah, we see Snorlax running through this central area right here. We have level 5 on the Metagross. We also now have level 5 on our Buzzwole in the top path. That Charge Beam doing some serious work into Umbreon there. Multiple members of Nem waiting in the tall grass for Unique Coaching to pop out.
There it is. First charge shot in. We're going to start putting that charge beam down. Can they actually convert that? Good portal. Going to almost catch a reset. Does save 2. Matang cannot get out of dodge fast enough. Vin Diesel going straight to the back line. They want Bora Reach as their target. The safeguard shield isn't going to quite be enough. Lutano gets a KO streak of 2. Vin Diesel gets 1 as well. So amazing job by Unk to realize the situation. They're going to come back overstaffed, overpowered, ready to go.
Yeah, and here we have once again a member of Nemesis going down. There is the Absol just getting ripped apart here as Unique Coaching is looking to take a fight. Another double KO from Lutano here. Great stuff from Unique Coaching as they're in control at the start of this match.
Yeah, very, very well done. I think Unique Coaching is just manipulating the map in a much stronger way than Nemesis. They're moving up and down, of course, with the Hyperspace Highway, but even before that was down, they were putting good, clever rotations together in the first stage of this game. We'll see what they can do. Safeguard, Poach JL, they still are able to get back to their side of the map, and we're going to start scrapping this thing out for the Regieleki.
Yeah, Regieleki getting chipped up right here. We have Metallic moving in, trying to pick up a KO, but no, it's the Absol that goes down, and you see Vin Diesel just moving through the side of Nemesis, picking up a double KO.
That's the thing. I mean, you can take all those S-tier speedsters out of the equation, and there's still some really good ones left, as it turns out. And Vin Diesel making Leafeon, at least giving us a reminder as to why Leafeon was so popular for so long.
And look at this here from Unique Coaching, just able to score and stack up now with this Metagross,
Jeez.
becoming incredibly powerful using that attack weight in the top path. As we have Buzzwole trying to stop it now, multiple members of Nemesis are able to get a secure in the bottom path, but with that KO and Buzz, they're going to keep pushing.
Yeah, I mean, JL came in, scored their points, closed the goal zone out, and now they were able to get a combo KO, I should say, on that to keep pushing forward. And now they're putting pressure on that tier 2 goal zone. Nemesis is kind of left scrambling right now.
Yeah, I mean, this has just been really tough for Nemesis. They do secure the bottom objective, but Lutano once again with the snipe shot, picking up another. That is another double KO for Lutano, peeling away with the Fell Stinger. Relics looking for something here. Can they finally take down Lutano? And they do.
They do, but they might have to trade in their life for it because tons of pressure back the other way on top of Relics, and that's a KO streak of 2 now for a Machisler. They just popped their Unite move. They put the Coliseum around the score zone, and everybody's moving forward. Vin Diesel wants into the action. Bliss Assistance into the middle. Is it going to be enough to sustain Metallic long enough to be able to get some KOs? And it looks like just with those stuns, ultimately all that Bliss Assistance did was save the big bug, and they couldn't squash any players the other way.
No, they couldn't take anything down, but they did stop them from scoring at least. They're still behind though. 122 points for Unique Coaching, only 40 for Nemesis. They're behind in experience, they're behind on fights, they're behind on just about every metric here in this final match. Maybe they needed that Gengar, we'll never know at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be missing the Gengar right now too. However, the way Unique Coaching has been playing, I'm not sure that Gengar would have been able to get online.
Yeah, it's a great point, right? I mean, Unique Coaching has just once again been in control. This is what the first 3 games of this series really looked like. Unique Coaching in a really strong position as we see Relics waiting in this tall grass for a possible fight right here. A couple members of Unique Coaching in the bottom path. We do have Nemesis looking to just rip this off the board. Hoopa not able to bring them in with the Unite move. Their Unite move is down, so they're able to just KO that and move on.
All right, let's see if Aznable can have a good defense here of this pad. Goes into the power nap after the heavy slam, and that is not enough to just suffer the rage of Unique Coaching. We've got the Miraidon Meteors crashing to land, but those aren't striking any true targets here as Oogway makes it back.
Yeah, 3 big Unite moves there from Nemesis, but they're still way behind on the scoreboard. Geez, these snipe shots taking it down to almost nothing with the follow-up there from Machisel, able to finish that off. Umbreon with the secure right here. Bora having to use the eject button to get away from this, but it's not enough. They go down to Machisel as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this Metagross is looking great when it's, 2 levels above everything else on the other side of the map. Great job by Machisel getting ahead, staying ahead, and then leveraging the strength of this fully powered up Metagross here.
I gotta give it up to Metallic right there. I mean, well, they do end up going down, but I still thought it was a very impressive way of making it back to that goal zone right here. As Machisel just says, yeah, keep talking about how impressive Metallic was, Jake. Jeez, you need coaching, just dominating here. A minute left. Nemesis is gonna need a big play because they are, getting further and further behind, sinking down to some sort of sand, if you will.
Yeah, and it is quick. Lo and behold, that is quick.
Yes.
They have increased their surface area, but they are piling the jackets back on, as it turns out. Currently down by 228 points is Nemesis, and they don't have much time to square that number up.
Yeah, now we have Unite coaching deciding whether or not they want to start hitting this or if they just want to position themselves down at Rayquaza. They obviously don't need it. They're way ahead in this moment. They have 2 tier 1s up, which do create an interesting situation, right? With the tier 1s up, you could have Nemesis peel back to score. And now we have Nemesis. We see where Miraidon is. Unite coaching has that information. They're firing the snipe shots and they hit. So we're going to have Miraidon basically head back to base, get all of their HP back, as you see Machisel getting very aggressive towards the side of Nem.
Yeah, there's no real pressure for Unk to do anything. The counter scores are starting, and they don't really care. They're still up by a bunch here. What are they going to do with this opportunity? Absolute Unite is out. It has a couple good targets. Uguay has to use their Unite to stay standing. Heavy Slam is there. Prevents the reset as well. Now they can get to the back line. Vin Diesel is down. They need to find more targets. Metallic comes through. 3 players down. Nemesis is taking a look. They've got their eye on the prize, but it's still Machisler, full HP and a bit of shield. Popped up, put down, and the Bliss Assistance for the full damage. Can they get this Metagross finally knocked out? Metallic is trying to work through, going through the portal to try and save themselves. JL is buying infinite time. The Metagross makes it out, and despite Nemesis taking an insane team fight, everybody from Unk is back.
Unbelievable stuff there from Machisel, surviving the onslaught with the shields and the gyro ball, using the positioning and the stuns from Hoopa to continue this fight. Nemesis thought they had it. That was their opportunity, but they weren't able to shut it down. Lutano is back with the snipe shots as Unite coaching is now taking it to Nemesis, ripping through them. The double KO once again from Lutano. Vin Diesel right now chasing out the Blissey, and there is just one member of Nemesis left on the board. No longer. Unite coaching takes them all out. What do you say, Doomsex? Ace, King, Queen, Jack, 10. That's an ace? Nope.
Something like that, but most importantly, Nemesis in the quicksand. They increased their surface area, but unfortunately, when they splayed themselves out, they were face down, so they were just drinking that sand up, and they find themselves gone under the weight of Unk and the pressure of the old men coming through and getting it done in the Thea Sky ruins.
What a series between these two squads. I mean, that was such an amazing fight from both of these teams. Nemesis with some brutal catches, but Unite coaching, Machisel on that Metagross just would not quit, continuing to find its shields through Gyro Ball, continuing to fight, giving them more and more time. Massive W's there for Unite coaching. And look at this here. I mean, 9 KOs on Leafeon, 7 on Metagross, 10 on the Inteleon. On the other side, the highest is only 3 for the Bug.
Yeah, amazing game by Unite coaching. They really did feel like they were ahead, got ahead, stayed ahead. And at the very end, when they needed just an S-tier godlike performance, Machisel steps up with the help of JL and keeps